All right, now here we are in Darkroom Booth, and if you have looked around Darkroom Booth much, you know you may have been around Darkroom Booth for a long time, or you may be new to it. But in any case, I would hope that we can show you a few things here that will help you keep track of organization of your events and things. So to start with, over on the left-hand side is where all your events are listed. Now these are the sample events that comes with the software, and they're just sort of basic setup events so you can see how things work. The intent is you would replace these with your own so that you have things set up the way you want. So I'm going to switch over to a PowerPoint now so you can see a little bit of how event management would work in Darkroom. Okay, so first of all, if I were doing it, there's a lot of different ways you can do something like this, but for me, this is how I would do things. I would develop standard packages to offer clients. So instead of telling the client, hey, what do you want? And then the client going off on all sorts of things that you either can't offer or don't do, don't know how to do, whatever, then you got to figure it out. I would work on 4, 5, 6, basic offerings that you want to offer, and then everything else would be an add-on that that customer can say, okay, well, I'd like you to do this or this. I'll take this package, but I want to add on that. So with these standard offerings, you can put together, let's just take some speculation here. Let's say that you have one basic standard, this is the bottom line package, and it's just a print event where you're going to do a 2x6 photo strip. That's it. And then maybe you have another package where, in addition to that, they can get email or text. And then maybe in addition to that, next package up would be a 2x6 photo strip, and then maybe add on a GIF or something else, so that you keep adding things on there. So you have a basic package, then a little better package, and a little better package, and a little better package. And of course, the idea is that you push people to go up and get bigger and nicer and more expensive packages all the way up. So you set up develop these standard packages that you plan to offer with various features that are going to be included in each package. Maybe a package would include, a 4x6 photo strip, or, whatever. So you set up all these packages. Then once you set up all of these standard packages, then we're going to set up standard events based on those packages in Darkroom Booth. So I'm going to switch over to Booth now so we can see how that works. So in Darkroom Booth, let's just say that your basic package is going to be an event where they get a 2x6 photo strip, and that's all. So let's set up here. First of all, we've got our event all set up, 4 photos, 4 photo strip. Now you can change your photo strip as needed depending on your event to customize that. And then you've just got a 2x6 photo strip selected here. So then I would come and change this name. So 2x6 basic 2x6 print only. Okay, so now I've got this event named basic 2x6 print only. All right, now then once that event is all set up, then if I select, right click, and choose lock event, then if you'll notice, everything got grayed out. So now this event is locked. I can't change it anymore. It's just like I want it to be, and I've already tested it and so on. So then you set up those events. And then let's set up another one building from that. Then you add your email package, and then you add your gift package, and you just keep building until you have all of these basic packages that you plan to offer set up. Then what you can do is, let me switch over back to my PowerPoint. Once you get that all set up, then you test them, make sure they're good, lock the event. All right. Now once that event is locked, then to do a new package, let me switch back to Booth. To do a new package or a new event, just select the proper package that that customer has chosen, and then select duplicate. Now you can access that menu I just showed you either by selecting the event and clicking here. You see duplicate, or you can just right click on the event and choose duplicate. Now you'll see then it changes to the same name but adds 1. So once I do that, I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to change this to say Bob and Marcy's wedding. So now I have, oops, left off the W, wedding. So now I have a new event set up with all of the basic things that are going to be in that basic 2x6 package, but it's Bob and Marcy's wedding. And now I'm going to unlock it. All right. So then I can choose my template based on whatever template that Bob and Marcy are going to have for their wedding. And then we're ready to go. So you can see that I set up my basic package and I locked it so it can't be changed. Then I always know when I go back to it, it's just like the way I found it, just the way I made it. So it's easy to test and use from there. And then I can create Bob and Marcy's wedding from that and move from that. So once I do that, you want to be sure and test. Go back over here. Once it's duplicated, test and verify proper function. Now, it's always a good idea once you create that new event by duplicating the standard event that even though you did that, let's run through and check and make sure everything's working the way you thought it should and nothing is messed up or anything like that. So you want to test and check proper function. And then when the event is over, what I would do is after that event is over, then use the wrap up to save out a backup copy of all those images. We get a lot of phone calls from people that say, you know, I accidentally deleted that event or I deleted the event to clear off some space, and now the customer's calling me and wanting to know if they can get another copy of the images or something and they don't have them. So what I would do is create a backup using the wrap up feature so that you have a backup of all the images and all the template, you know, the photo strips and everything from that event. So in case they ever want them in the future, you have those saved to an alternate location outside of Darkroom Booth. You can leave the event, you know, in Darkroom Booth until you need space, and that way it's easy to go back to and reprint if you need to, you know, a week or so after the event. But at least make a backup as soon as the event is over so that you have that stored to an alternate location. So that's how you lock up. You create an event and you lock an event. So you create an event, lock it, and then duplicate an event off of that. Now I want to talk just a little bit about the X drive. Okay, so let's just kind of dispel some rumors and myths and things about what the X drive is and what it isn't. So first of all, we're going to talk about the X drive. Now, what is the X drive and what is it? All right, the X drive is basically a shortcut. It's not a mystery. It's not some fake drive that we're making or anything else. It is simply a shortcut to the actual location on the computer. So if you, you know, where is that? Where is that real location? Well, there it is right there. Darkroom has a standard place that with the basic install is stored all your events, all your images, all your templates, etc. And that default location is C:\users public documents Darkroom Booth photos. It's kind of long, so that's why we have that X drive to just be a quick and simple, easy way to switch over there to it. So let's take a look at that. So the X drive only shows when Darkroom is running. So you have Darkroom running. You'll see down here on your computer this other little thing right there. That's the X drive. So you see there's your normal drive C. This particular computer only has a drive C. And then you've got the X drive when Darkroom Booth is running. Now if you notice, if you come up here to this PC where we can see the capacity, the local disk C has, in this case, 325 gigabytes free. And if you look over here, my X drive also has 325 gigabytes free because it's actually just a shortcut to the real location on the computer. So here's my X drive. Now if I go to the actual location, which is C:\users public documents, Darkroom Booth, and then photos, then you'll see there looks a lot like the same thing here. It's exactly the same location. It's just a shortcut to get to it quickly. Now it is very important that you don't move, change, edit, anything like that on the X drive. It really is. I'm going to just briefly kind of go over what some of these things are so it takes some of the mystery out of it. If you look here, first of all, on the X drive, you'll see these folders. You may have just one or two. You may have a bunch, depending on how many events you have. But here you have these folders that have numbers. Now, these numbers are assigned by Darkroom. They do not need to change because that's how Darkroom locates your events. Within each event, let me find one with some images in it. Within each event, you'll see the various data files and so on that Darkroom uses. Here we go. So this one has, it's got a slideshow, etc. You'll see photos. This is where all your photographs would be, and various data files. Don't delete, change, or edit any of these things within this X drive. If you did email, there'll be an email file here that has all of your email addresses and so on. You can also export that out through the wrap-up tab. So there'd be all of this information here. All of these things are important. These are data files and things that Darkroom needs to be able to access and do those things. So don't change any of that stuff. So that's what those numbered files are. Then if you move over just a little bit more, you'll see booth screens. That's where all of your booth screen templates are located. They're all XBDR files. If you get a template that you need to add into Darkroom that isn't already an XBDR file, you just drop it in this folder for screens. Same thing with booth templates. That's where your print templates are all located. They're also Darkroom's proprietary XBDR files. Then we got camera settings. So if you have saved settings in the Darkroom software, you can save the settings for your camera so that they're auto-restored. If you've saved settings, those will be in this file or this folder here. Data indexes is a folder that Darkroom uses for storage of information. Leave that alone. Filters, this is a new feature in Darkroom Booth 3 where filters are stored. They are a .json file, but they are really just a text file that can be edited or created in Notepad. Packages, those are the standard sizes that come with Darkroom there. Sample photos, if you output a sample of a template where it has the pictures inside, this is where those images are located. You can change them to your own if you'd like, and there's a README file right there with instructions on how to do that. Sound files that come with Darkroom are located here. If you add sounds of your own, you don't have to locate them here. They can be anywhere, and then when they're added into Darkroom, they're embedded into the file. This is just the ones that come with Darkroom. Surveys, if you do a survey, these are the standard surveys that come with the software. The files are all saved here. And then WebRoot is a proprietary folder for the software use. Don't change anything there. And then you've got a few other event DAT files that go with each event. Don't mess with those. All these things are important to Darkroom, so don't change or edit or delete anything from this area here at all. Those are important, so leave those alone. Now, the thing about all of this information is it is very important. The main reason we allow you, if you want to go back to the software, let me switch back over there. If you go to Global Settings, and let me go to Global Settings, and then if you go to Application Options, the first one up there, you'll see Photo Path. This is where that default location is, the // users, public, etc. This is the default location that Darkroom installs everything. If you only have a single hard drive on their computer, there is no reason to change this. Leave it alone. Don't change it. Keep it right where it is. The reason we give you the option to change it is if you have a secondary hard drive in your computer that is not a removable hard drive, then you can use that to keep that there. If you want to move it to another drive, if you have a lot of events. But most computers for photo booths only have a single hard drive, so this should not change. We get a lot of calls from people that say, my template suddenly disappeared, or I don't have any more events, I don't know what happened to them. And 99 times out of 100, they have changed this location, and now Darkroom doesn't know where to find anything. So leave that alone. Don't change that. That's really important. Now, if you wanted to back up all your events, or if you've created those standard events that we talked about, those standard packages, and you want to replicate that from one computer to another, then you can copy the entire contents. Whoops. You can copy the entire contents of this X drive right here. Just copy all of that from one computer to another, put it on the X drive of the other computer. So then you'd have that all replicated from one computer to another. Most of the settings, now things like printers and so on that are possibly unique to your computer, would need to be changed or different. But the packages, the not the packages, but the events, the standard events, the booth screens, the booth templates, all those kind of things are all residing here. So if you copy that from one computer to another, or if you back that up to an alternate location, then you'll have all of that stored separately and backed up. And so that's always a good idea to back that sort of information up. But that's the mystery of the X drive. So don't edit or change anything on the X drive. Keep it just like it is, and then you'll have those standard events all set up. So back to Darkroom Booth for just a minute. Again, I would start with setting up all your standard events so that you have all those just like you want them, and then lock those events by right-clicking and choosing lock or unlock an event, and that keeps those from being altered or changed. Then just duplicate them from then on, and then you have those standard events. If you have any questions or anything, certainly give us a call. Darkroom support, available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 Central Time. We're always happy to help, and I hope you learned something from that. We'll do another one next week, and I hope you enjoyed it.